Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Vivian Ezadefi. Let's begin with the headlines. In preparation for the February 21st area council elections, Independent National Electoral Commission conducts mock election in FCT. Federal government initiative on the National Agricultural Growth Scheme increase food security within 3 years. China celebrates 2026 Happy Chinese New Year Temple Fair in Abuja, deepens ties with Nigeria. Let's begin with election in the FCT. Election readiness was put to the test in the Federal Capital Territory as the Independent National Electoral Commission carried out a mock poll across 289 polling units. The exercise was monitored by the INEC chairman, Professor Joash Amuputon, alongside national commissioners, the FCT resident electoral commissioner, and other principal officers of the commission. Political correspondent Rabiat Shaib now reports.
The territory-wide mock polls is to evaluate the Commission's logistics, personnel preparedness, and technology performance ahead of the February 21 area council election. The monitoring team, led by the INEC chairman, Joash Amupitan, visited polling units within the Abuja city center as well as Buari area council, where officials conducted simulated accreditation using the bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS. Interacting with polling officials, the INEC chairman received feedback on device functionality and process flow, with reports indicating stable performance of the BVAS and efficient voter processing time.
So far, I am very satisfied that the BVAS has worked excellently well. You can see even at this polling unit, about 11 voters have been attended to. They have been accredited and they have voted. So we've got somebody who has voted to come back and see whether the BVAS will allow him. But we all saw it, that the BVAS pop up immediately that this person has been accredited. Let me also say to the resident of FCT that we're also using this to create awareness and also to mobilize voters to come out and vote. If the BVAS functions very well, you can be sure that the whole process will be fair, to be free, and it will be credible.
Residents and political party agents were also present at several polling units to observe the process in line with transparency measures and stakeholder inclusion in the electoral process.
I was one of the sample voters and my card was okay, work well, and everything was okay. And we look forward to the main election day.
And I must say I'm impressed. INEC seems to be very ready for 21st of February.
The inspection team also visited a training session for supervisory presiding officers, where participants will receive final operational guide on polling procedures, compliance standard, and result handling protocols. INEC says findings from the mock poll will guide final adjustments ahead of the election day, while urging registered voters to turn out and participate in the area council election, assuring that the technologies and personnel required for a credible process are fully prepared. In Abuja, Rabiat Shaib, NTA News.
We now move to Kwara State, where Vice President Kashim Shettima has visited the state to assess the aftermath of the tragic terrorist attack that claimed over 100 lives in Woro and Nuku communities of Kayamat local government area of the state. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya has the report.
Kashim Shettima, who was received at the Babatunde Idiagbo International Airport in Ilorin by the Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak, assured the people of the state of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's resolve towards ensuring that those responsible for the terrorist attack at Woro and Nuku communities are tracked, apprehended, and brought to justice. The Vice President explained that efforts are also ongoing by the federal government to provide support to victims and coordinate security responses in the affected communities. The Vice President reassured the people of Kwara State that the federal government will never give the terrorists breathing space, noting that the battalion and tactical team deployed by the Inspector General of Police to the axis have been mobilized to do the needful.
I'm here fundamentally to commiserate with the government and people of Kwara, and the people of Kayama in particular, over the tragic loss of lives, and to reassure the good people of the state of harmony that our prayers are with you, our empathy is with you, and the DG of NEMA, the President had instructed her to mobilize all resources in partnership with the State Emergency Management Agency to provide succor and support to our distressed communities. Please accept our heartfelt condolences on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The response of the federal government has been very swift. As confirmed by the local government chairman, troops are already on ground. The Operation Savannah Shield is in motion. We do truly appreciate the response of the federal government.
Scores of persons were massacred and many houses set ablaze in Woro and Nuku communities in Kayama local government area of Kwara State by terrorists, allegedly for refusing to surrender to extremists who preached a strange doctrine to them. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya, NTA News.
And on the foreign scene, the United States has offered to host talks between Ukraine and Russia in Florida next week to see the possibility of the two countries ending their nearly 4-year war by June. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, who said this, observed the U.S.-led effort to end Europe's deadliest conflict since World War II have stepped up a gear in recent weeks, but Moscow and Kyiv remain at odds over the key issue of territory. Russia, which occupies around 20% of its neighbor, is pushing for full control of Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region as part of any deal and has threatened to take it by force if talks fail. But Ukraine says ceding ground will embolden Moscow, and so it will not sign an agreement that fails to deter Russia from invading again. The United States has proposed for the first time that the two negotiating teams, Ukraine and Russia, meet in the United States, probably in Miami, in a week's time. Zelensky told reporters in comments made publicly earlier Saturday. Iran's foreign minister said a fresh round of talks with Washington will take place soon, while insisting that enrichment was Tehran's inalienable rights, so building trust will take time. Trust will take time. Abbas Aranchi said the first round of talks in Oman had been a good start, noting that enrichment is their inalienable rights and must continue. Arachi observed that even with bombing, they could not destroy their capabilities. Report says Arachi's remark came a day after renewed nuclear talks in Muscat with Washington, which has deployed an aircraft carrier group to the Middle East following Iran's deadly response to anti-government protests. Japanese Prime Minister Sanya Takaichi at a campaign event held at a Liberal Democratic Party in Tokyo ahead of snap elections on Sunday. The 64-year-old looks set to run home in the elections, telling supporters Japan can still achieve economic growth. Framopanye reports.
Less than 24 hours to polls, Prime Minister Sanya Takaichi pledged to make Japan more prosperous and safer through tougher immigration screening in a final appeal to voters. Opinion polls suggest that Takaichi's ruling bloc, led by the Liberal Democratic Party, could romp home in Sunday's vote and secure a two-thirds majority in the powerful lower house. Pushing the button for growth is the Takaichi cabinet's job. She said
This is the year in which they want to turn the anxieties people feel about their lives today and about the future into hope. Her tough talks on immigration appears for now to have slowed the sharp rise of the populist Japanese First Sanseito Party, which did well in upper house elections last year. She added that she wanted a Japanese archipelago where no matter where one lives, one can live safely, where medical care and welfare support, quality education, proper workplaces and jobs exist. The conservative Takaichi, a heavy metal drummer in her youth and admirer of Margaret Thatcher, became Japan's 5th premier. Surveys ahead of the election indicate with some caution due to undecided voters that the LDP will easily win more than 233 seats needed to regain a majority. Together with the LDP's coalition partner, the Japan Innovation Party, Takaichi's ruling bloc could even win a 2/3 majority. The last time this happened was in 2017 under assassinated ex-premier Shinzo Abe, Takaichi's mentor. Frama Panyi, NTA News.
The UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan and Gabonese leader Brice Oligui Nguema oversaw the signing of a comprehensive economic partnership agreement during a meeting in Abu Dhabi. Footage shows both leaders holding talks at Kasra Al-Shati before overseeing the inking of the agreement. The deal is expected to boost bilateral trade and deepen private sector cooperation, with measures aimed at cutting tariffs, easing trade barriers, facilitating investment, and encouraging business partnerships. The UAE stands as the largest source of new foreign direct investment in the continent, having invested over USD 110 billion across Africa since 2019. Residents take refuge in a sports center after the civil guard rescued them from their homes in Grazalema and Benauchan as Spain and Portugal race live in fears of another storm heading from the Iberian Peninsula. This comes just days after the flood caused a storm. Leonardo killed at least one person in each country. Framapanye reports.
Spain and Portugal on Saturday braced for another storm heading for the Iberian Peninsula just days after the floods caused by Storm Leonardo proved fatal in both countries. The latest depression, Christian Storm Marta, has prompted the deployment of more than 26,500 rescuers in Portugal, where the foul weather has led 3 municipalities to postpone Sunday's presidential vote till next week. Both countries have issued warnings over the potential fresh floods after inundations blocked hundreds of roads, disrupted trains, and forced thousands to evacuate from the rising waters. In Spain, much of the country's south, particularly Andalusia, was placed on orange alert, as was the northwest, facing heavy rain and violent storms, said National Meteorological Agency, AMET. Fresh rainfall Saturday in Andalusia comes on top of downpours, which caused mass floodings, landslides, and the evacuation of more than 10,000 people from their homes. Many roads remain closed as a precaution, and rail traffic is largely suspended, according to the authorities, who have called on the population to limit their travel as much as possible. His organization fears gusts of winds reaching 110 kilometers, that is 68 miles per hour, after Marta reaches the Portuguese coastline, along with landslides and flash floods. Portugal was already reeling from the effect of Storm Christine, which led to the death of 5 people, injured hundreds, and left tens of thousands without power when Leonardo hit earlier this week. Portugal's National Meteorological Institute has placed the entire coastline on orange alert due to heavy sea conditions. Frama Panyi, NTA News.
Welcome back. Authorities aligned with the Alliance Fleuve Congo and M23 marked the first anniversary of the fall of Goma with public appearances and project inaugurations, as the group's leadership claimed the conflicts in the city had ended and shifted focus to reconstruction and development. Footage shows AFC M23 leader Colonel Nangaa touring construction sites across Goma, accompanied by armed fighters, local officials and residents, as crowds lined the streets to watch the convoy pass through the city. Addressing residents, Nangaa declared an end to the armed phase of the conflicts.
We are here to tell you that the war is over and that we are now beginning development. We are starting to build. The liberation began in the east, just as the sun rises in the east, and this liberation will continue across the entire territory. We are not complainers. We are responsible, and today we represent an alternative for the renewal of Congo.
During the visit, Nangaa inaugurated infrastructure projects, including road works and public facilities, as supporters applauded and local cultural groups performed traditional dances.
Return to the city, we no longer see random gunfire or killings. Our security has improved.
Goma fell to the AFC M23 alliance in late January 2025 after days of heavy fighting, marking a major shift in control in North Kivu province. Fighting has continued in the eastern region of the DRC despite a ceasefire brokered by the United States and an economic deal between the two countries. And back home, as part of effort at bolstering their existing cordial relations, Nigeria and China are actively consulting on the implementation of zero-tariff measures, which provide strong support for Nigeria's modernization drive. This came to the fore in Abuja at the 2026 Happy Chinese New Year Temple Fair and the 55th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Nigeria. Chinonso Mwabwezi completes the report.
Over the past 5.5 decades, the relationship between Nigeria and China, records reveal, has evolved from cordial diplomatic ties into a robust partnership that cut across key sectors with significant impacts on the people of both countries. Efforts to deepen this collaboration resonate here at the 2026 Chinese New Year Temple Fair and the 55th Diplomatic Relations Anniversary between Nigeria and China, established in February 1971, as the two nations recommit to an enhanced cooperation.
We're looking forward to work with friends from all the sectors in Nigeria to build a high-level community with a shared future. Further deepen political mutual trust and mutual support, further explore the potential for communication in trade and investment.
As we celebrate this new year, we must also look ahead with renewed energy and clarity of purpose. This moment is not only about celebrating past achievements, it is about delivering our projects, our programs, that will define our shared vision.
The symbolic test of Chinese cuisine, martial arts performances by a delegation from the Chinese Wushu Association, as well as display by Nigerian and Chinese artists, were hand in driving home the message of unity, mutual respect, and shared prosperity.
That is the basic value and philosophy between our two countries, mutual, respect, cooperation. So we see every Nigerian friends, you are our family.
Now we are trying to further the relationship to see how we can really promote the ICT, the online education in the school system. And they are ready. They are thinking if it is even possible for us to introduce the Chinese language in our school curriculum.
As China ushers in the 2026 New Year tagged the Year of the Horse, this gathering serves as a reminder that Nigeria and China share the same spirit of resilience and determination. Chukwunonso Nwabweze, NTA News.
Chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM Abike Dabiri Erewa, has requested UK authorities for a thorough investigation and justice over the tragic death of Khalid Oladipo, a 20-year-old Nigerian student who was allegedly stabbed in Leicester, UK. In a statement by the head of Media, Public Relations and Protocols Unit of the Commission, Abdul Rahman Balogu, Khalid indicates that Oladipo, a second-year cybersecurity student at the Montfort University, was reportedly attacked while on his way home from watching a football match. It describes the incident as heartbreaking and a painful loss to both the Oladipo family and the Nigerian community at home and in diaspora. NIDCOM, she reiterated, will continue to be committed to the welfare and protection of Nigerians in the diaspora community. The Nigerian Immigration Service has dismissed reports claiming that a region of the country has been disqualified from passport issuance, describing them as false and misleading. In a statement, the service public relations officers Akinshola Akinlabi explains that the service is implementing a phased onboarding system to migrate passport offices, including those in foreign missions, to a centralized production framework to enhance efficiency, integration, integrity, and security. He adds that passport offices in several northeast and north central states, as well as 35 international stations across Africa, Asia, Europe, and South America, have already been successfully onboarded. According to the service, the migration of passport offices in the southeast states alongside additional international stations is currently ongoing and scheduled for completion within the first quarter of 2026. The Nigerian Immigration Service urges the public to disregard speculative narratives capable of creating unnecessary tension, reaffirming its commitment to equitable service delivery and operational excellence nationwide. The federal government initiative under the National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro Pocket has added more than 2.5 million tons of agricultural produce worth 2.3 trillion naira within 3 years. The staple crops are wheat, rice, maize, sorghum, soybean, and cassava. Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Aliu Sabi Abdullahi, said the project has significantly increased food availability and helped stabilize prices in the country. Looking ahead, the minister revealed plans to integrate the African Development Bank funded policy-based operations project alongside preparations for the Japan International Cooperation Agency Initiative and NACS 2.0. The JACA project will prioritize rice, maize, soybean, and cassava production, while NACS 2.0 will focus on wheat and rice starting in the 2026 wet season. For the 2025-2026 dry season, the scheme will emphasize rice, maize, and cassava cultivation across all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory.
And these 4 seasons are, of course, the dry season of 2023-2024, the wet season of 2024, dry season of 2024-2025, and the wet season of 2025. We have been able to achieve the following: a total of 2,536,184 metric tons of various produce were produced across these 4 seasons.
The Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is strengthening collaboration with the Agriculture Research Council of Nigeria to drive sustainable growth within the nation's aquatic sector. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adebwinga Oyetola, disclosed this in Abuja when he played host to the Executive Secretary of ARCN, Dr. Abubakar Dabang. Chukunonso Nwabeze has more.
With over 2 million metric tons annual fish demand deficit, strengthening Nigeria's aquaculture sector to bridge this gap becomes very imperative as the country tackles overdependence on importation. This meeting between the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyego Yetola, and the Executive Secretary of the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Abubakar Daban, is to deepen joint initiatives that focuses on climate resilience, capacity building, as well as youth and women empowerment to drive sustainable growth within Nigeria's aquatic sector.
As the ministry pursues programs aimed at increasing domestic food production, improving livelihoods in coastal and riverine communities, and promoting sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, partnership with established research and training institutions will remain very vital. I therefore welcome discussions on practical areas of collaboration and cooperation between our institutions, including the research initiatives, capacity building, support for climate smart production systems, and strengthening linkages between research, policy, and industry.
And this is where we end the news on NTA International. Thanks for watching. I am Vivian Izadi.